sort of a deep dive in the USMTO press release, which came out today. And if you haven't seen it, really good news. Orders in October were $384 million. And that's the best we've done on a dollar value basis since December of 2019. And the best month, of course, for all of 2020. It's only 2% down from where it was in October 2019, and it's 4% up where we were in September, which was the previous high until we got the October numbers. Now, what's really interesting is that there were numerous industries that, as we got into the October data, had recorded year over year, October over October, numbers that were significantly better than their numbers in 2019. As an example, a couple industries that had more than double digit increases October 20 over October 2019 were the machine shop or contract machine job shops and construction machinery orders for manufacturing technology. Both those industries had double-digit increases in their order levels in October 2020 over 2019. But some of the other industries that were really interesting, all this moving product from one place to the other has gotten MROs for railroad industry and new rail car manufacturers to make additional investments in manufacturing technology. Of course, the medical equipment industries up very high from where it typically is at this time. Usually it's a 4 or 5% of all orders, and it's sitting around 6.5, 7% of total right now. And probably will pick up a couple extra points as we get towards the end of the year. We also have metalworking, where a lot of manufacturing technology products are, the machine tools, cutting, forming, and then the cutting tools themselves that go onto the machines and the dies that actually shape or cut holes or cut away chips from the metal products. Fabricated metal products, individual pieces, valves, pipes, etc. And then one of the fastest growing ones in the course of the last 3 or 4 months has been a favor of the pandemic area is the mold and die industry. Molds have been difficult to get shipped in a timely fashion from usual sources, and so there's been a significant pickup in mold orders placed with mold manufacturers in the United States, and actually some machine shops going into the mold business almost entirely to deal with the extra demand. That is, been a godsend to the job shops in the Great Lakes areas through Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, and New York. But beyond that, we had the power transmission industry. Now, that's not the kind of power transmission that goes into cars. It's power transmission for producing electricity, distributing electricity, the engines and turbines that create the electricity to begin with. And that's been very, very strong ever since the June timeframe, growing at a very nice pace, not the double-digit pace, of course, but doing now better in orders on a monthly basis relative to the same month the previous year. Now, units are actually doing pretty well, but they are doing particularly well. Even if the dollars are not up over previous year's levels, units are doing particularly well in automation products, high-tech products like the 5-axis products or the B-axis lathes that are out there, both of which had better units through the last 3 months than they had in the entire previous 7 months of the year. And then finally, we're looking for some really good numbers as we get into December. We could well finish up 2020 relative to 2019 only off 19 to 20% from where we were in 2019. And I say only because if you remember correctly, when we were in the beginnings of this pandemic, May and early June, we were looking at something that was more closer to 50 to 60% down 2020 relative to 2019. And thank goodness that's not what occurred. It also means, though, that our drive out of this recession won't be as steep in the beginning as was projected. Instead of those 84% increases we were hearing about in May and June, we're probably going to see something in the mid-20s, low 30s. And it will look like a check mark. It'll come up start pretty quick and then begin to level off fairly fast. And we should start seeing the first year-to-date numbers relative being larger than the same time frame from the previous year in the February, March, April timeframe, probably March, looking at first quarter relative to the first quarter of 2020, seeing things doing a little bit better. But it's going to be a while before we get back to where we were in 2019. But we'll get there sooner than some of our key customers. The aerospace industry and the oil and gas exploration industries are both have been hit very, very hard. Even though oil and gas has some really nice orders in October, actually did better than any other month in the year, still has a long ways to go to get back to where it was in 2018. 2019 wasn't too good a year for them as well. So, of course, the price of oil drives that. And oil prices are driven by how many times people get in their car and run around or into an airplane. Likewise, on the street, and the orders that are on a little bit of a hiatus, probably for a good 18 months, if not a little bit longer. So with that, I hope you're having a busy week and that you're going to take in a lot of nice orders before you hit the Christmas holidays. Stay safe, and we'll see you at the beginning of next year. Take care.